What's up, guys? It's Mature Deity, and today we're going to be talking about what I think the top 5 strongest characters of the water element are in Epic 7 in terms of an RTA perspective. So I also got Twitch chat's input within this video, so we worked together and decided as a group which we think are best. It's mostly my opinion, and I'm going to explain each unit as to why I think they're the best. But before we get into the video, if any of you are willing to subscribe to the channel, 75% of people who watch the videos are not subscribed currently, which is crazy. But either way, if you'd consider doing so, it'd help out a lot. And secondly, I want to thank the people who joined the membership program, so I added that as of last video. And we have Hesmana, Dex, thank you both for joining. And then we have, I don't know how to say their name, Vicious or Vacoas. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for doing the whale tier of that. Helps out tremendously, so thank you guys. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So the first unit that we're going to go and say is just, he's made a comeback. He used to be super good in Season 1. It's going to be Crow. Crow has true damage on his S3 with the current meta shifting into kind of a AoE meta because all of the Guiding Light units, like, and Fairytale Tenebra, but being able to put Guiding Light on any ranger creates a situation where you need AoE to knock them out of that stealth. So everyone's drafting AoE. Whenever you put Crow down, he gives defense buff. He gives a ton of damage mitigation because he's a knight. You can put him on Aureus, and then Aureus will also help him get into his S3 true damage faster. So Crow always finds a way to come in and out of the meta. Also, Crow's fantastic in some PvE. I use him as a front tank for Iron 13 right now because my General Purgus is built for RTA, so he can be used there. He's great for Guild Wars. He's great for pretty much everything within the game where you would need a knight. So he's just very good. He also has a pretty decent provoke chance on his S1, so you can kind of control the board as well as semi-CC unit, because he also pushes back on his S2. So having that 35% pushback can set you up into a position where you can go ahead and get the defense buff up before a damage dealer hits you, and you can push a damage dealer back and kind of more establish yourself if you are able to, or if they do not have immunity. So Crow just is going to be an easy first pick. Secondly, limited unit. Water used to be an insane element. In Season 1, it was like the dominant element. Now, as we were making this list, it was actually a lot harder to find 5 heroes that we'd put into it, but Cerise was definitely one that just goes into it. After her buff, she is absolutely amazing. I think before her buff, she was still pretty good. I think they overdid her buff, but they do that with a lot of things. So having this, giving a element neutral S3 strip is amazing. So she is a turn 1 unit. She has 124 base speed, which is pretty dang high. I believe it's 124. So having that, being able to build her fast, go first, strip the enemy, set yourself up for whatever you want to do, and then decreasing speed and restricting the opponent so they can't push up. Their slow is such a dominant debuff in RTA. Whenever your opponent is slow and you're able to just take more turns, it's so powerful. So it actually attacks with advantageous elements. So always, you would only need to build 85 crit chance on Cerise, and she will always crit. So that is, it's not just that it's element neutral, it's actually advantageous. So no matter what, you are going to get all the benefits of being, or having the advantage on element. So her S3 is just amazing. And then going into her S2, stunning the opponent, and then increasing her combat readiness whenever she's already a speed unit. She just laps and takes turns like crazy. I mean, obviously, most of you guys know Cerise. And then also, this is one of the biggest things, is the S2 Soul Burn Ignore Effectors. So even whenever they draft units that are Effectors units, you can just Soul Burn this and just stun them anyway, which is crazy. I don't know, I feel like that is like extreme on her kit because it also gives unbuffable. So she counters Kayron heavily. She already water. Well, she just counters Kayron. With this, she counters Rylet. With this, she hits a Rylet. Then the Rylet's unbuffable. It just counters so many things in the game. Charlotte, it's just unbuffable. It's super powerful. And then the S1 is amazing because you're going to just get a dual attack every single time you S1 with her, and she's cycling turns like crazy. She gets an extra 15% combat readiness boost every time she S1s. So if you get a random dual attack, she'll boost up if she's the person who gets pulled for the dual attack. But when she's used to dual attack, you can also put Miss Confile artifact on her so you can get a defense break and then pull the other unit to hit for extreme damage. So Cerise will just always, I feel like, be in a pretty good spot within RTA and every other content as well. My Cerise is 302 speed. I use her literally everywhere and almost everything that I do. So the third unit, this one is a little bit weird now. SSB is still just always going to be dominant. If you 5th pick an SSB and RTA and they don't have the counters for it, she can just completely solo so many teams. She can be used as anti-clue because you build her on 20,000 HP. She has her, well, not imprint. She has her self-survivability S2 skill, so the damage mitigate or the damage sharing just creates a situation where your SSB is going to survive for forever. She is getting more and more counters coming out to the game, but that is why she's still one of the most impressive units, though, as a 5th pick. If they didn't get those counters on Solitaria, shuts her down completely. Archer Mercedes is like a 50-50 counter. If you get the seal, it's awesome. If you don't get the seal, that SSB is going to run you over. Rowana, obviously, is still a great unit. She's just always going to be somebody that you can pick to hard carry you if you pick her last. So a very, very dangerous unit, always will be, but another limited unit, as they make all limited units pretty much insanely strong. As we're going into another limited unit here, Fairytale Tenebra. Fairytale Tenebra has come out and absolutely shaken up the meta so much. So she keeps getting adjusted too. So people are using her. She locks down the opponent. Redirect or provoke. She can give defense break on her transfer back. She can give silence. People are starting to build her on high effectiveness because people are trying to draft like Kitty Clarissa and anti-debuffers into her. The release of Dilibet didn't even hurt her at all. I feel like Dilibet, designer Lilibet is okay, but she a lot of the times can't really do everything that you need her to counter Fairytale Tenebra. So she's just an absolutely amazing unit because of just her setup. This, like I said, the redirected provoke, and then even if you draft her with other knights, getting that provoke on like an FCC onto something, she can still just proc and put those debuffs back on opponent. The only issue is they're one-turn debuffs, so a lot of the times you'll put the debuffs on, then that unit will be the next up, and then it just shakes a like defense break, silence, or anything off right away, which the silence usually is a good one, but the unhealable and the decreased defense, it just gets shaken off immediately. But overall, she is so dominant, and she is almost always a must ban whenever she gets drafted against you in RTA. She's still great for Arena. She's still great for Guild Wars. Not much PvE used for her though. You can try to use her in Wyvern. I tested it as much as I could, but the poison chance is just so low that it just doesn't feel very good on trying to use it. But overall, she's just still absolutely amazing. People have been using Curse Compass on her to or on turn 1 get the higher effectiveness. My 270 effect res Justina has been getting hit by Fairytale Tenebra's, which means that Fairytale Tenebra probably has over 200 effectiveness every time. They're 270 speed or 290 speed. Some of them are absolutely crazy. So she is a very oppressive unit. So the last one, this was pretty hard with Kisei's buff coming in. Kisei is up there. I don't want to put her on there just yet above Diane. So Diane is going to be the last pick. We're just going through just to see if there's anybody else who's close, but there's really not. Dizzy is still pretty good, but Diane is going to take my number 5 slot. She giving attack buff, giving the anti-crit, which anti-crit's a meme. Most of the time that you need it to work, it doesn't work, but when it does work, it's absolutely huge. She cleanses debuffs very well, and she cycles turns insanely fast because of 50% CR combat readiness boost. And then her S1 also gives combat. It's basically the same as Cerise in terms of cycling. It's just Diane isn't built as fast as Cerise. But either way, dispelling debuffs and everything always is going to be good. And then the attack buff coming from Diane. In Season 1 RTA, Diane was a monster. She's starting to fall off a bit with all the unbuffable units that are out, but if you have certain drafts, she still can fit and be played very, very well. So, like I said, this is RTA focused. Some of the other units are obviously fantastic in PvE. Kisei is really good in PvE. Rose is very, very good too. It's just very hard to build her. But if you do have the good Rose, she definitely is in the top 5 heroes. But I didn't want to put her there because she just takes an insane gear requirement to make her fast enough. Her base speed is insanely low. She does have a speed E, but it doesn't help out enough. But almost every water unit can be used in PvE. Clarissa, Zerato's not very good. Corinne, Wyvern, Crozet. Most of the water class just is like, how do I use this in Wyvern? Sez used to be insane. He's not very good. Luna's just a Wyvern unit mostly. Iowan, you can use in Wyvern. Just the water class just always gets looked at as, I'll just use this Wyvern. Lulika, you can use at A13. Dizzy is still really good in PvP. If you last pick her. Otherwise, there's just so many units that give immunity with Eller Crow being out. All the units that cleanse, the Rise of Destina, Kitty Carissa, all that I was talking about earlier. Just pretty much cancel Dizzy. Ida, I don't really know. I didn't pull her, but she didn't seem too great. Flan, Plan can be good. Shu's just in a rough spot because the moment you pick Shu, if they pick Landy, you have to get rid of her. If they pick Basar, you're kind of screwed. So there's just too many things that hard counter Shu so much that she's unusable. She's a unit that you 5th pick if they pick Ravi, but that's really you 5th pick in very few situations. But my Shu is built pretty well, and I get some use out of her, but not as much as I'd like because I spent a lot of molas. But overall, that is going to be the list. Let me know down below what you think, if you have any disagreements, if you think another unit shines more than I said or missed anything. Feel free to comment that. Thank you again to the new members of the channel, and then also if you are willing to subscribe. We're gaining like 100 subs a day right now, which is insane. So if we can keep this momentum up, it will literally carry me into not having stress trying to do this stuff full time. So it's a little greedy of me to ask, but either way, hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day.